Hello, everybody. Let's get this started. You're watching Kenny Stahl live, and this is a live stream that I'm doing. I'm going to be taking questions from people, but I'm also going to take this as an opportunity to give you guys a little bit of a rundown of a lot of things that I really like and care for. So let's just jump into it, guys. I want to run down a lot of stuff right now, talk about stuff. I wrote down a bunch of stuff I want to go over, so firstly, whatever you're going through right now, whatever you're dealing with in life, I know that it's sometimes really hard to find a reason to be happy, a reason to smile. What I want you to do is do what I've been doing lately and saying, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to smile anyway. And with that being said, that's how we're going to kick things off. A little bit of swearing, a little bit of, just trying to get into it. Yeah, this is a weird start of the video. But anyway, I want to talk to you guys about a lot of stuff that really drives me in my life. A lot of stuff that really drives me to be here for you guys. Like, I really enjoy making these videos and doing these live streams. Really getting deep into talking about stuff about life. And I want to do that right now. So we got a couple people in the chat saying hi. And then we have Jonathan asking if I am aspiring to economic growth. I believe that everybody should be focusing on every type of growth that there is, and economic growth is certainly a part of that. And so let's really talk about this. So growth is, of course, something that is good to focus on. See, I got to pull up my notes if they can open. All right, there we go. So when it comes to growth, all right, patience is the name of the game, because not everything's going to change at once. And the thing is if you're patient enough, if you allow yourself to have time to change, to grow, or whatever, good stuff can happen. And that's really what I have my eyes set on in my life, right? Really, see, you guys have seen me make all these videos talking about how I hate myself, how I hate my life, how I'm just constantly unhappy and unsatisfied with the circumstances of my life. And, I talk about depression, loneliness, stuff like that. Okay, I can talk about that stuff all day long, stuff I deal with. I'm sure some of you guys deal with some of the same stuff. But at the end of the day, what really I'm fascinated with the most, what I really care about the most, is personal transformation. Is this idea of redemption, this idea that you can change, this idea that you're not stuck being one way for your entire life. And oftentimes, a lot of people, have just a lot of regret, a lot of disappointment. So my first question that I'm going to actually ask you guys is this: what things in your life disappoint you the most? What things are you not too happy about when it comes to your life, how things have been? Because I'm going to tell you guys what it's like for me. I've always grown up as a young kid, and as a teenager, I've always been this type of person who I just never really felt like I had anything going for me. I didn't really make friends well. I just kind of felt like a nobody, right? And what kind of built up over time was this, like, just large amount of self-hatred, this I don't know, depression, whatever it is. It kind of kept growing. You could kind of sense that something was gonna happen. Like, it's like a volcano, like it's about to erupt, right? There's like something going on inside me, something's heating up, right? And that was just this constant feeling that something's wrong with me, that nothing's right. So I guess what I've been focusing on, why I really love like this whole idea of self-help and personal change, why I really go crazy over all this this really serious, deep talk about life, is because I think that I am, and I always have been, on somewhat of a mission to change myself and really to bring everybody along with me and really share my story, share my, not even my story. It's not about my story. I don't have much of a story, but share my thoughts, share the things that I pick up on, and, share them with you guys. So we got a few more comments in the chat. See, if you face the world with a smile, the world will smile back. And also tell yourself you're the best every day, and you'll probably feel better about yourself. Okay, so we got some things that people feel disappointed about. We have weight issues and an inability to motivate yourself. That's definitely something that I can understand. So yeah, I think the whole idea of having weight issues is a great topic to really start with, because a lot of people struggle with their weight. A lot of people I know in my life are overweight and they want to lose that weight. So that's one of those things where I'm talking about this redemptive thing that you can do, is you can say, let's try to grow, get better, improve, lose that weight, make my life better so I don't hate myself. And that's a really good example. And same thing, if you're poor, there's this redemptive quality of, man, I grew up being so poor, I never had money, always looking at these people who had all this money, nice houses, nice cars, didn't have to struggle. It's like, there's almost like a thing that if you really care about it a lot, it kind of just sticks in your mind, and you kind of say, I can't let this go. I'm going to dedicate my life to this thing, because here's the thing. Life will always bring you a lot of challenges to overcome, and for each of us it's different. It's interesting. I've been watching a lot of YouTubers who are just similar to me. So you watch my videos, there's a lot of other YouTubers out there that talk about depression, mental health, and this kind of idea that I'm talking about, where it's like, I don't really like my life, what can I do, it's overwhelming. And it's interesting to watch all these people, and I've done this myself too, I'm not calling anybody out, but people who are on YouTube making these videos, and they're like, they play this perhaps game where they try to guess what you're going through. They're trying to just make a video. That's all they're trying to do. And they're like, if you're struggling with depression, overwhelmed with life, perhaps you might have just lost your job, or maybe you went through a breakup recently, or maybe you lost a loved one that you really cared about, or maybe you're really struggling with your weight issues or insecure. And they play this game where they try, listen, I've done this before too, so I'm not calling anybody out, but they play this game where they just list off a number of things that people typically go through in life that are challenging, and things that make you feel depressed or whatever, and they try to hit you with something. They try to get you to relate to one of these things so they can finish their video talking about, here's some advice for you, or here's some motivation, right? Typically when you watch any motivational video, it'll always be them trying to guess what you're going through. And when I've done that before a little bit too, but my point here is that it's like, well, no shit. Like, of course, everybody is going through something right now. And yeah, you could try to go down the list and try to catch what one of those things are and try to point it out. But that is what life is. Life is just a series of unfortunate events. I didn't mean to. That's the title of a book series. But anyway, life is a series of tragedies, of obstacles, of challenges, of things that make life hard to deal with, right? Hardships. And I'm not saying this to try to depress you. I don't think I need to help depress you guys. But that is, I'm not saying this to depress you. What I really want it to do is I want it to motivate you. I want you to think about how life is so hard, about how life is challenging, about how life is not ever just going to make itself easy for you to deal with. And I want that to motivate you to the point where you just want to get up out of your chair right now and say, I am going to become a better person so I can handle all this. I want you to see, this is what I've kind of, this is kind of what depression has really done for me, I guess. This is what this, growing up period of my life has really opened my eyes to. Is I realized that the goal that I have now is that I want to just become a type of person who's able to deal with the hardships that life throws at me. Basically just becoming a stronger person. If we really want to talk about it this way, what I'm really referring to is just, building strength, building, the strength to endure all the hardships of life. And I think that's something that, if you go through depression, you kind of understand that typically people who are depressed are strong people because of all the stuff they go through. I'm sure people in life, and maybe this is yourself, who, they just have a rough life. Just everything seems to go wrong for them. These are the strongest people that you will ever meet. because they've had to deal with some real shit. And I think you know what I'm talking about. So the thing with depression, though, is that as much as depression is a sign of strength, it can also be something that's not very good, because, you know, if you're depressed, it can lead to some nasty consequences interfering with your life. So you just don't want, while you're depressed, while you're actually going through something as bad as depression, you don't want it to do too much damage to your life. Like, you don't want to dig yourself into a deeper hole that you can't get out of. So really, when I talk about this stuff, what I really care about is just kind of waking up to the fact, and this is for myself and I guess for all of you guys watching, it's just to, you know, I guess I want to wake as many people up. I don't really like that sounds weird, but that phrasing, but like, I want to really become more aware of the fact that, number one, it's not really good to be depressed, but by being depressed, you see life in a different way, you experience life differently, and that makes you stronger in some ways. So there are positives and negatives that come with being depressed or going through depression. I think that when you do go through depression, when you find it so hard to be happy in life, well, that means that the threshold for what can make you happy kind of increases. So really, once you do find something when you're depressed, once you find something that really can make you smile, that really can bring you that joy and happiness and fulfillment that you're looking for, then you know you really found something, right? At that point, you know, like, you really know what will make you happy when it can make you happy even when you're depressed. So kind of a weird way to put it. I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. I kind of I'm reading off of some notes I wrote down earlier, and this is kind of just my little life deep session. And I hope I'm probably losing all of you guys right now. You don't really care to listen to this. I'm gonna get to the chat. Let's see. Okay, I missed all these comments in the chat, so I'm going to try to go back up and read them. I apologize. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to everybody's comments. I got a lot of stuff I want to go through right now. Depends on what your definition of depressed really is. Yeah, I've always struggled with that. I don't even really know what it means to be depressed. I know there's like a clinical version of it, and then I know there's also just a different version of it, which is not necessarily like clinical depression. So yeah, it does depend. It depends what you mean. I'm definitely using it in more of a loose way. Let's see. Here's a comment saying, you plant negative thoughts and more negative thoughts grow through your subconscious. They force you to think positive. So force yourself to think positively, and you'll subconsciously start to think differently. Yeah, I think it does. You know, the more you think positively, the more it becomes a part of who you are, and then you'll just become more of a positive person. It's something that you have to gradually introduce into your life, I think, and it can definitely have long-term effects. But yeah, you're not just going to change overnight, but certainly transformation is possible. Certainly changing the way that you think about life and everything, and your view and your attitude. That's really what I feel. So let's see. If somebody calls you depressed, it doesn't automatically mean you are. It's just that someone perceives you that way. It's up to you to form your own perceptions. Yeah, so it's always true that people are trying to label you, that people are always trying to say what you are or aren't. And it's a very confusing thing, like, to really know what you are or aren't. I think that self-perception, self-identity, how you perceive yourself is something that does play a huge role in people's lives, and what I think about and what I want you to think about is how your self-identity is limiting to you, or how you perceive yourself influences what you do. Because it doesn't really matter what labels you slap on yourself. It doesn't matter what you say you are, how you define yourself, unless it really does influence your behavior. And it's only at that point that it really matters. So self-perception matters. You know, that's why if you have a negative view on yourself, if you constantly call yourself a loser, if you constantly say that you're no good, that you can never do anything right in life, that you're just a total failure, then it definitely will influence your life in a self-fulfilling prophecy kind of way, where if you identify yourself to being a failure, you might not try as hard. You might not have that optimism for your life, and therefore it just causes your life to be suckish, right? So let me go back up in my notes here and talk more. Oh, actually, I should probably finish reading these comments. Sorry. Let's see. We have, I don't like to go out alone anywhere, and since I don't have any friends, I don't go outside, and because I don't go outside, I'm not making friends. Yeah, that's kind of like one of those catch-22s, right? Where, well, here's the thing. What I'll say about that is if you try to wait until the conditions are the right conditions before you attempt something, then you're going to find yourself in these kind of weird paradoxical catch-22 situations. Here's the thing. You have to overcome that situation by this sort of just telling yourself that you're going to do it, by having the resolution, or basically saying that you resolve to go outside or go out, even though you don't have friends. It's something that you have to decide on your own by yourself somehow and act on that. That's the only way to really break the cycle. Is you have to say to yourself that I want to change. You have to say to yourself I want something different. It's not until that is introduced into your life, into the way you think, that anything can actually happen. That's how I feel about it. It's kind of the same thing if you're struggling with like any kind of an addiction or any kind of problem. It's like it's not going to go away on its own. These things that you struggle with in your life, they're not just going to change themselves. It's only until you say you want to change. It's only until you say you want help. It's only until you say that things need to be different. When you've hit that point where it crosses the tipping point, that's only when action ever takes place. That's only when change ever takes place. And I know I'm speaking in kind of one of these ways of speaking that's kind of, I don't know. How would you describe it? I don't even know. I'm speaking in a way that you hear a lot of people who talk about this kind of life stuff talk about, and I'm not trying to, if it makes sense, it makes sense, and I hope it does. Let me know. Thank you everybody for watching, by the way. We're about 17 minutes into the stream. I got a lot of comments, a lot of viewers. I have a lot of stuff I still got to go through, so we're probably going to be here a little bit. I hope that you guys enjoy this. If you do enjoy it, make sure you let me know in the comments. Also, if you want to support the channel in any way, super chats are available. I'll be super thankful, but don't need it. So, next comment in the chat here is, let's see. Most people who describe themselves as depressed have lost something. At least that's what I found out in my studies. Yeah, I agree. I think I missed a lot. I don't know how I scrolled down there, but that's a good comment. How did I scroll down there? Let's see. We have Jonathan saying, I have no friends. I have a family. That's enough for me. Who set the standards of friends being essential? Live your life, and if you are not satisfied, do something about it. Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, that is something where it's like what is the big deal that people make about having friends all the time? Like, if you don't really think that you need friends, then, I mean, I don't know I'm not going to say what's best for you or what's not. I think there are a lot more things coming out lately. I don't know how accurate there are. There's like probably research or something that does say that if you have nobody, if you isolate yourself from people, that it's just not healthy or it's not good for you. It does something. I haven't listen, it's on my to-do list to really look into that and see if there's any like credible research behind like effects are of loneliness or having no friends or whatever. But as long as you have somebody, like I personally can't really say that I'm totally lonely, although I know I come out and make videos talking about me being lonely. But it's like I have a girlfriend, so it's like I can't really complain that much. But here's the thing with loneliness is that a lot of times it doesn't really matter how many people are actually around you. You could be the most popular person out there, and you could still feel lonely. Now, you might not actually be lonely technically, like having nobody, but you still might feel lonely because you just feel like you can't relate to anybody. And so there's the loneliness that exists in that form, which is that it's not that you don't have anybody. It's just that you feel like nobody understands you. You feel like you're an outsider. You feel like an outcast. You feel like you just can't connect with anybody. So there is that type of loneliness, which I think might be the problem. But yeah, sometimes people do well by themselves when they're not around people. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate your guys' feedback. So thank you for all the comments. If you're just joining, make sure that you leave a comment here in the chat. Hopefully I'll get to it. I got a lot of stuff I got to get to, so I want to say a lot of stuff right now. So yeah, just tell me something about yourself, ask me a question, whatever. Comment on what I'm saying. Let's see. I'm constantly gaining weight. I'm never exercising because I have no one to exercise with. Your friend died. Okay. Yeah, I'm just reading the comments here. Yeah, I mean, if you want to exercise, exercise. I'm really sorry to hear that your friend passed away. That's unfortunate. Let's see. I don't think I'm depressed, just lonely and lazy. I'm sure, I never know what to really say about a lot of this, but most people who describe themselves as depressed have lost something. Okay, yep, I've already read that comment. How to deal with loneliness. I've literally been alone and friendless for so long, like for years, and every day the hurt gets worse, and I feel like I'm missing out on so much. Well, I don't think I'm really going to be able to answer your problem completely, but as far as how to deal with loneliness, there's a number of different things that probably need to happen. I'm just coming up with this off the top of my head, so take it for what it's worth. I think you should definitely take it like a step at a time. Don't expect much. Like, don't try too hard, too fast to have everything. I would say, I mean, it depends on what you want. I mean, are you looking for a close friend who's like you can talk to all the time, or are you just, I mean, possibly just talking to strangers, going to a public place that there's a lot of people there, and just being around people might be a good first step. I don't know. The other thing is that, the more you think about how lonely you are, I'm sure the more it probably sucks. So if you have stuff to do to kind of get your mind off of things, I don't know, maybe that'll be a good step. I mean, learning to really be able to spend time alone in a way that makes you feel good about your life and, have something to do, have something to live for besides just desiring people all the time. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up, guys. Let me move on. As far as the question of how to deal with loneliness, it's something that I wish I really had a better answer for right now, but I don't really know, as it's still something that I am struggling with. But yeah, when I get a good answer for that, I'll probably make a video about it. I'll talk to you guys about it, but I encourage you guys to do your own research on it and see what you guys find. So, but thank you for the comments. What's my favorite superhero, just to get off of the depression stuff? Favorite superhero? Let me think. These questions I hate because I have no answers for them. I don't really care, honestly. Let's see. We had a comment saying that first you have to identify what's holding you back from making those friends. Yeah, that's also a good point. Understanding, what you're doing. I mean, I guess taking a certain amount of personal responsibility for how things are is probably good. As long as you don't feel super awful about yourself because of it and feel like you're doing everything wrong. So let's see, where are we at right now? We're 23 minutes in. Let's see. Let's see. We have here's a question. Do you ever think about what you truly are beyond your ego, as in beyond society, down to the core of what you really are? What would you be if you were never raised or educated? So as far as that goes, as far as societal and cultural things that influence you, I guess you would just be almost like an animal where you just base everything off of your instincts. But people are smart, I think. So, I don't know. But so there's that type of answer, but that's probably not the best answer or what you're looking for. I don't know, man. it's definitely a good idea to like think about how, culture and society influences what you perceive to be normal and challenge that. I think that's always a good thing. Challenge, a lot of things that you're told, so you're actually like somebody who's actually independent and thinking for yourself. And I don't know. I don't really have much of an answer for these questions, guys, but I appreciate them. Let's see. Sarah's talking about, let's see. Okay, you're a senior in high school, feeling like you ruined a lot of your relationships, feeling like you have nobody left. Let's see. Borderline personality disorder, which I don't really know what that is. I apologize. Can't really help you there. Feeling like you fucked up and ruined it with everybody. Well, the good thing is that you definitely have a lot of opportunity left in your life. Whatever you do after high school, there's definitely a lot of opportunities to meet people. It's just like, I guess the starting point would be to, think about like just building relationships with people. Maybe it's a good idea to just forget about the ones that you've had and move on and try to find new ones and start from the ground up, as far as, what is it like? If you really think about it, how do you meet people? How do you actually get into a situation where you have a friend? Like, how are friends made? Reverse engineer it. It all starts with, it's usually an accident. You usually just meet somebody at school or work or wherever. It's not like there aren't people. It's not like there's a shortage of people in the world to meet, and it's just a matter of connecting. Especially if you find something that you're really interested in, like a hobby or something that you are passionate about or whatever. It's like you involve yourself in stuff. I think that's probably the most important thing now that I think back. You have to involve yourself in stuff. Involve yourself in group activities. Involve yourself in things that include a lot of people. That's why school and work are probably the two main places that people meet. And the more that you avoid things like that, the less likely you are going to be able to actually meet people. Meeting people is where it starts. And then then once you meet somebody, it's just building a connection, building trust, doing things together, stuff like that. So, yeah, that's just my baseline simple advice. I know it's not that simple, but hey, what do you expect? Like, I'm not gonna have all the answers. I apologize. Next, let's see. Next comment. Where am I at? I don't even know. I'm missing a lot of comments. I apologize if I miss all your let's see. We have what's GCSES or whatever that is? GCSs? I don't even know what that is. What do I regret in high school? I'm sure there's a lot of people that regret a lot of stuff in high school. For me, it was definitely not getting myself involved in enough things and meeting friends and stuff. Okay, so let's stop for a minute. Almost half an hour in. I just want to say again to everybody joining, thank you for being here. If you're just joining, you can leave a comment, ask me a question, or say something about what I'm talking about, or say something about yourself and what you're going through in life, and I'd be happy to try to answer. I don't know if I can get to every single question, but also you can click the super chat icon to donate to me and this channel. I don't need your money, but it definitely helps. I pay for a lot of stuff just to keep this channel going. And then I got a lot of other things I want to do right now and talk about. So, all right. let's get into a little bit of motivational stuff right now, because I don't know, I'm into that kind of stuff right now. Let's just say this. Don't settle for how things are right now. Like, don't ever, like, I don't know. I don't want to speak in cliches. I don't want to speak in, like, these motivational cliches or anything, but don't ever just give up, lay down, and accept defeat in life, right? Like, say to yourself, let's make my life the best it can be. Here I am. I literally just said I'm not going to talk like that. So here's the question, though. How can you be that determined? How can you be that enthusiastic about life, especially when you're really depressed, like I know a lot of you guys are? Like, it's always hard to really believe that it's actually possible to make your life any better, but especially when you're depressed. But I do think it's so important to strive to just improve, to always be looking at what you can do to change. And I think where it starts is really looking at what things you don't like, what things you're upset about, what things you are disappointed about, like, and then just believe that you're on a mission to, like, make up for the things that you fucked up in your life, or the things that are really hard that you have to overcome. And that is kind of what I think will get a little fire burning inside you, and give you that passion for really taking control of your life. But, just the basic, simple first place to start is just asking yourself, what am I passionate about? What do I really care about in life? What am I interested in? What do I naturally gravitate towards? Or what do you think is going on in the world that you want to change? What don't you like? Find out what your passion is in life, because that will answer the question, what should I be doing with my life? And it'll make life a little bit clearer. It'll give you a sense of a direction, because I know a lot of times in my life, I just feel like I have nothing to do. I feel lost. I'm like, what the heck am I supposed to do with my time here? I feel like I'm wasting my life. And listen, nothing makes you feel fulfilled in life more than actually having something that you care about, having something that you're trying to achieve. And self-awareness is where everything starts. Because what happens if you're not self-aware? What happens if you don't understand who you are, what you're like, what you want? And, you have to really understand what you want. A lot of times people who are lost in life, they got to do a little bit of self-reflection. And this is what I've done in my life. I'm not, I'm going to get a little bit preachy here. I've already been preachy in this video. But that's kind of just what the whole video is going to be like. I got to get out some content, so I appreciate you guys just joining the live stream. Mark asking how I'm feeling. Feeling okay, feeling pretty good right now. Thank you for asking. Where do you see yourself in 30 years? 30 years is a long time. A lot can actually change in 5 to 10 years, and that's probably where most people should be really thinking about, is just the 5 to 10 year window, I'd say. I'm always thinking about 5 to 10 years ahead. Like that's why I don't worry about a lot of things right now, because I'm like, well, a lot can change in 5 years. I can be in a much better place. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. I'm catching up on the chat, guys. GCSE is the exams for British students, kind of like finals in American high school. Okay, cool. That answers my question. Let's see. Lots of great stuff in the comments. I appreciate it. Okay, so next thing that I guess I can talk about is, so self-awareness, I think, is where I left off. Understanding yourself, understanding your strengths and weaknesses, and playing to them. That's a really big point that's really going to make your life better or worse, depending on how self-aware you are and whether or not you know what these things are. I mean, what happens when you're not self-aware? Like, you might find yourself at a job you don't like, finding yourself going to school, going to college, or to a university for something that you really don't actually want to do, but you just think you have to do it. That's what happens when you're not self-aware. That's what happens when you don't follow your passion. That's what happened to me. I went to school. I graduated high school. I went to the university, and I realized that I was just doing it just to do it, not because I wanted to. And I got there. I was taking classes, and I was like, I don't really know what I really want to do. And I realized that I was spending all this time, and I didn't really think it just wasn't good. So I dropped out, and I went back and I tried it again. Then I dropped out a second time. So, yeah. So since then, I've really learned what I really care about, what I really like, what I really enjoy. And I think what that really comes down to is this. I really like what I'm doing right now. This is like, if I could, I would be doing this every single day of my life. I don't know why I'm not. I should be live streaming and making videos every day of my life, but sometimes I just don't have the motivation and I just can't get myself to do it. But ultimately, that's why I'm glad that you guys are here listening to me, supporting me and stuff like that, because it really does mean a lot. Helping people. Listen, really what I'm trying to do is help myself here. This is kind of a way for me to just talk about these things that I really care about, get a lot of things off my chest, say what's on my mind. It makes me feel good. It's kind of like a therapeutic thing for me. But underneath that is the bigger picture where it's like, I know I'm not just helping myself, like other people, like you guys watching, it actually means something to you. So the fact that that's something that's possible for me to do, it really brings a lot of fulfillment and meaning in my life, and that's why I feel good. I see myself in 5 to 10 years having a bigger channel, being a lot smarter, really having my stuff down, like having clear points that I can make that, like right now I'm really confused. I don't really know what to say a lot of the times in my videos. I don't really know what to say a lot of times in these live streams. But I think after doing this for 5 years, I think I might actually have a message that's pretty clear and well-informed and stuff like that. So that's where I see myself going. But as far as knowing your strengths and weaknesses, if you know your strengths, you can double down on what you're good at, focus on what you're good at, and spend more time doing what you're good at, because it maximizes positive results in your life, the results that you want to have, right? Having a more fruitful life, bigger harvest kind of thing. Weaknesses, if you know what your weaknesses are, being self-aware of those things, it can help you avoid getting into trouble. It can help you avoid falling down in life into situations that might set you back. So just being aware of those things. Like for me, one of the weaknesses that I have is social anxiety. So it's very like, that whole thing where I just kind of am awkward around people. I'm not very good at communicating when I'm around people. I think I've gotten better, but like I know that's always been something that I've always struggled with when I was younger. So I've had to learn how to deal with that. I've had to learn like that. Like I'm not a naturally social person. Like you should know that. Like I'm not a naturally good, funny, outgoing, charismatic person. So I've had to understand that about myself, really be aware of that, and do something about it, adjust how I live. And everybody's got their own strengths and weaknesses. Everybody's got their own things that they're good at and bad at, and it's like you just have to understand yourself, and only you can do that. Like nobody can tell you like what you should do in life. Nobody can tell you what's best for you or what path you should take, because it's something that you have to spend time you have to spend that time being introspective and really focusing on that. So a lot of new comments. I appreciate it. Let me get back up here. Sorry guys. Unfortunately, there's too many comments right now. I'm not going to be able to get to all of them because I got my own things I want to say, but I also want to get to your comments. But running out of time here. We're already 40 minutes in. Let's see. I don't really know where to insert myself in the chat here. Let's see. Yeah, for anybody who, I mean, like, I do, I do think that if you're not taking the time right now to really talk things through as far as like what you're going through in life, or if you don't have a friend to talk to, if you don't have a close family member who you can really talk deeply about what's on your mind, I think it's good to find somebody. Or if you're going through like a serious thing like depression, like I think that perhaps therapy is something that might be good for you. It's not something that everybody wants to do. It's not something that some people think actually helps, but I mean, it's worth giving it a try, I think, if you don't have anybody. Um, I know there's not really much I can do. Like, I wish that I could be here for you guys. I wish I could talk to you guys one-on-one and meet you guys all personally. I can't, though. But yeah, I think, I don't know. I don't really know what to say from here. Um, um, Okay, if I was to, I'm reading a comment here. If I was to achieve or gain anything in life, it would be to gain more clarity as to what is the meaning of life, whether or not there's a creator. I mean, I think you could probably spend the rest of your life debating whether or not there's a creator, and then also defining what the heck that means. I think that it's just not clear. There might be a significance to it, but there also might not. You just, Um, let's see. Samson says, your videos have helped me more than anyone. I appreciate that. I'm glad to hear that my videos are helping. I'm just trying to be honest. I'm just trying to speak what I think makes sense, but sometimes I don't make sense. Let's see. We have Deep Sea Skeptic saying, life doesn't have any objective meaning. It's up to you to find your own meanings. Depression is just the result of a failure to not find your own meanings in life. I think I've heard you write that before, and I really appreciate you writing that again, because it's a good thing to write. Let's see. All right, I'm going to move on from where I was going. So I know I talk a lot about like depression and loneliness and social anxiety and stuff like that. And I know that that's what you guys mostly hear me talk about, and, self-esteem and that sort of thing. But really what I've really talked about this whole entire time in the stream is something that I'm really the most passionate about, the thing I really have on my mind all the time. It's really just about creating change, of transforming yourself, of transforming your life, of really resolving to change, because nothing can happen unless you really decide that you want it. Nothing can really happen unless you take the first steps to making a difference. And it's hard, if you're at a point where you can't see how things can get better, then you have to be able to see that there is a better future out there. You have to be able to understand that there is something that you could achieve. There is something else that you can, a different way of life that could be what you want. It's one of these things. That's kind of what it is like to be inspired, isn't it? Like, sometimes you can feel like in a really low place. You can feel like you're not really doing enough in your life. Then you can just watch a YouTube video of some guy who just tells his story. One of these motivational, like, there's like music playing, and it's like, hey everybody, I grew up really poor, and I battled some disease, and, guess what? I made my life worth it anyway. And it's kind of this whole sappy, emotional, like, thing where you just kind of feel inspired, because you're like, oh, if this guy can do it, I can do it too. And I think that's kind of where inspiration comes from, is when you're at this place in your life where you feel like nothing can help you, when you feel helpless, when you feel like hopeless, like there's no future that could ever turn out good for yourself. Sometimes you have to see somebody else who's actually made something happen to be like, hey, like, yes, you can. Like, you can do something. Your life can get better. And it's like one of these things where you have motivational speakers out there who are trying to do something good for people, but who are trying to inspire people. But it's like, there's that question of, how do you help somebody actually transform their life? How do you get somebody to actually believe that their life can get better? And it doesn't matter how much I tell you that your life can get better. It doesn't matter how much I say, don't worry, there's a better future out there for you. Things can change. You don't have to constantly live a life full of being disappointed. It doesn't matter how much I say that, unless you believe it yourself. You're never gonna have anything happen. It's like one of these things where the responsibility is on you and you alone. And it's one of these things, one of the deeper things is where you have to willingly accept that responsibility. And I'm trying to think about what I don't know really where I'm going with this. Let me just move on because I don't really know what I'm trying to say. So yeah, the things I care about is that and increasing self-awareness, just challenging the way that you perceive yourself, challenging how you perceive what you perceive reality to be, also building confidence. So where does really building confidence come from? I've really tried to think about this a little bit, and all I can really say about building confidence is that it comes from taking risks in life and stepping out of your comfort zone, challenging yourself. And like with social anxiety, have the fear of people, the fear of being judged by others. When you have social anxiety, it really makes social interactions very difficult, just because of that insecurity and fear. So the whole thing about building confidence is that if you have social anxiety, the only way to really change, the only way to really make a meaningful difference with it is to actually just force yourself somehow to, say hi to somebody or be around people. You have to step out of your comfort zone with that type of thing. You have to actually go to those parties or go to that social thing and challenge yourself. And then the key is that once you do that, you have to be able to realize that everything's okay, that it didn't ruin your life, that you're still fine, you're okay. And it's that realization that you are able to do more with your life that builds confidence. So the same thing, like if you're not very confident right now, if you're like out of shape, start working out. Start getting in shape, whether that's losing weight, building muscle, whatever it is, being able to run further. Start working out. And what that'll do is you will begin seeing yourself actually making a meaningful difference in your life. You will see yourself actually transform. You will see yourself changing. And you will realize that it is you who did it. It is you who took that responsibility upon yourself, and you decided what you want to do. You resolved to change. You took those steps. You did it. And when you see yourself reflecting upon what you just did, when you see yourself challenging yourself and then succeed, that's how you build confidence. And so if you sit around doing nothing all day, if you don't do anything, if you don't challenge yourself, if you always hide away in fear of everything, like, of course you're not going to be confident because you're never seeing yourself do anything successfully. So I'm not saying that you should be ashamed of who you are if you're not doing much in your life. I certainly don't do a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I just don't do in my life. But what I am saying is that that's just how I see it, I don't know. Let me move on. Let's see, what do we got? How are you guys doing? I apologize. I don't really know what to say to you guys. I'll try to answer some questions, although, honestly, kind of got my own thing going on that I'm talking about. So, let's see. I just want somebody to talk to. It's horrible having ideas that you can't share with others. Yeah, that is something that I understand. That's kind of what a lot of this comes down to is you have your own, and everybody is like this, you have your own thoughts. You have your own ideas. You have your own questions. You have your own feelings. And what a lot of times people want to do is express themselves. And there's many ways to express yourself. Obviously, just talking to somebody about exactly what you think or exactly what you feel is what does it for people. That's why loneliness sucks, because if you have nobody there to talk to about what is on your mind, you don't feel like you're able to express yourself to others. You don't feel like anybody else understands you. But another way to express yourself, singing, it's a great thing to do. I think music in general, if you can play an instrument or something, that's expressing yourself. I'm sure dancing is a form of expression, just moving, doing anything. express yourself. That's why I think, okay, so I don't know if you guys know, there's a YouTube channel called Depression to Expression. It's Scott runs the channel. That's his channel called, I will hopefully get in contact with him and be able to bring him on this channel and do a one-on-one conversation with him on a live stream. Hopefully he'll accept that. He seems like a really nice guy. He likes to collaborate with people, so I'm sure he'll be more than happy to. But anyway, the title of his channel, Depression to Expression, is self-explanatory. Like you want to go from being depressed to being confident enough and happy enough to be able to express yourself with others. So that whole idea of expressing yourself, I think that's so valuable. As the YouTube slogan is broadcast yourself. Like Facebook or Twitter, it's like what you're doing is you're writing out your thoughts or you're posting them online on social media. So that's what people want. People want to be heard, right? I'm sitting here right now. I've got a freaking microphone here. I'm expressing myself. And it feels good. Go to a therapist, talk to them, get your thoughts out there. Okay, anyway. What else do I have to say, guys? I don't think I have really much more to say. I really am glad that you guys have all joined me here. I've had a lot to say so far. Let's see. We have a comment saying congrats for my 3,000 subscribers. So I really appreciate you saying that. It's crazy. It's crazy to think that there's 3,000 of you guys. It's taken a while to get here. I'm not the best at growing a channel. I'm trying to focus more on actually making videos that are specifically designed to bring in new viewers. And there's been a few different videos that have really gotten the most attention. I've really noticed that whenever I make a video about loneliness, or whenever I made a video about social anxiety, or whenever I made a video about depression or something, or saying I hate myself, those are all the videos that get the most attention. So I'm going to probably keep repeating myself and making more videos talking about that type of thing. But what that shows me is that that's what people care about. People want to hear more about loneliness. People want to hear more about that kind of thing. About depression and social anxiety. So I'm going to try to do my best to do my own research on this stuff, to be more informed upon, what the symptoms are of these things, or not symptoms, but what it's like and what can really help. And, that's my goal. That's my challenge to myself, is to learn about that and to make videos talking about that. So yeah, 3,000 subscribers, 3,000 subscribers is amazing. I want to thank every one of you. And I really like what I'm doing here, and I'm hoping that I just keep improving, keep making videos that are better. Let's see. Let's see, I look at the full picture of life and it just seems so boring. We live in constant monotony, doing the same thing day in, day out. First school, then it's a job, death, what's the point? I've thought about that before. How life seems to be a routine. How life seems to be doing the same thing over and over again. And I think the answer to that, to being bored or to feeling like you're not doing anything, is you have to make something meaningful. You have to find the meaning in it. You have to find, I think it's one of these things where you got to make something happen that's never happened before. You ever play that game where you just say something random? Where you just say, that game, I don't remember where I've heard this from, but where you just put a string of words together and you're like, I know that nobody has ever said these words in a sentence before, or back to back. Okay, everybody in the comments, I want you to write something or say something that goes with that goes with what I just said. I can't talk right now, guys. I've been doing this for 54 minutes. But that idea that I'm trying to get at is you break the cycle. You make something exciting happen, right? That's why we get that's why our focus immediately goes to the thing that stands out, to the thing that is not the same. We always see, how do I put that? Standing out, right? And I think the question is, how do you create a moment in your life that is so different than all the regular routine things that you go through in life, that it actually feels good, that you feel fulfilled by experiencing it. And that might be what expressing yourself is really all about. All right, anyway. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what I'm talking about half the time in here. I hope that it makes sense to you guys. I really don't. Let's see. Where am I at in the comments? I'm like way up here. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Want to travel, get married, die happy. Life has no meaning, but we create it the way we like. Everything I achieve, no one's going to care when I die. My name will be lost in the ether when I go. I'm just a speck on someone's boot. I'm nothing. I'm pointless. I mean, that is one way of thinking about it, but with that kind of, I think that it doesn't really do anything for you. I mean, it's not really maybe it will, but if you constantly think about your life being nothing and pointless, and that you're just, you're going to die and nobody's going to remember you, I mean, then you're not really living, right? Let's see. Let's see. Just be who you are. Stop defining yourself of how other people look at you. You're important. You're important and worthy, regardless people acknowledge your importance or not. Yeah, that's true. You definitely shouldn't be trying to live your life to satisfy anybody else or to leave a legacy or something like that. I think you even said it yourself, how you create the meaning in your life. So, all right. Okay, I don't know how much longer I'm going to go for, but thank you everybody for joining. If you're just joining, leave a comment. Maybe I'll get to it. Maybe not. I don't know. There's a lot of comments right now, and I'm not going to be able to get through all of them. But also, if you want to contribute to the channel, donate using Super Chat, and I would definitely appreciate it. I don't need you to, but it'll help support the channel with all the financial stuff that I have going on. So, let's see. I don't know what else to really say. Depression hasn't fazed me, but I do hate aspects of my personality. I'm not really good at approaching girls, and the girls who like me are not the ones that I feel attracted to. Interesting. Yeah, you know what I haven't talked about at all on this channel really is that whole thing about like relationship stuff, like, that whole approach anxiety that a lot of people have, or the fact of there's like a, I'm definitely aware of this in my life, because when I was in high school, I recognized that I really sucked at talking to all the girls in school, and I recognized that I didn't really get along with people very well, and I think I learned that there is a way to get better at communication with others and get better at that kind of stuff, and it really just comes down to understanding what people are looking for. I'm talking about, like, approaching girls or meeting new people, making friends, I forget, what would you call that? Social skills. How could I not remember that? Social skills. It's such a simple term. Building social skills. Something that you know what? Now that I think about it, I'm going to make more videos about that, because that's like the number one struggle that I've had in my life. And I think there are definitely, it's a skill, right? And a lot of it comes down to just being more conscious of what you're doing and how it affects the other person, and understanding what people want from you. Listen, here's one thing. Attraction is a little bit different. than just like your everyday how's it going in the office kind of thing. But definitely you got to be aware of like what other people get put off from. Like you don't want to be super annoying, you know. Like for me right now in this live stream, I'm just talking and talking, but in a real setting, you got to be able to listen. You can't just talk forever and go on a long rant or ramble and talk about what you're interested in. Somebody else is going to get bored of you. Somebody else is not going to like it. You know, you got to be engaging. That's definitely a big thing. Of course, everybody wants to talk about themselves. Complimenting somebody is always a good way to go. Making a specific statement about a specific thing about that person, and they'll feel good. You know, they'll be like, oh, this person noticed me. This person cares about me. A lot of times it's like, think about what you would want somebody to say to you or how you would want them to act to you and try to replicate that for them. As far as being attractive to girls, though, if you're a guy trying to be attractive to girls, then, you know, that's a whole nother story that I really don't know much about, but definitely some of the same stuff applies. As you know, heck, as long as you're not a total mess, as long as you are kind of well established enough, you might have a shot, you know. Sorry guys, I don't really know what else to say about that. I'm just talking. Where am I at? I don't even know. There's so many comments here. I'm not getting through any of them. I don't know. I don't know what half these comments are, if they're to me or to you guys are talking to each other. I'm glad that you guys are talking to each other, though, in the chat. All right, guys. I think that's actually a good spot to stop because I just hit the 1 hour mark and an hour and 2 minutes. I think that's good. Normally, I usually do these live streams for up to an hour. So this is normal for me. So I just want to say thank you guys for your time. I got through everything I wanted to say. I think you guys had a lot of good comments and a lot of good stuff to say yourself. So thank you for being here. I'm just looking forward to, you know, having more things to say in the future. It's hard sometimes because I don't always know what to say to you guys. I don't always feel like I have anything meaningful. I try to get straight to like the most meaningful thing and what people really need to hear. And the process of me talking through this is actually helping myself as well. This is kind of me just working through stuff on my own. So I'm glad that you guys can kind of hear me, give me some feedback. I don't know. I guess I'm just going to keep doing this. I guess I'm just going to keep doing stuff the way I've been doing it. I'm going to make more videos. So cool. Thanks for the support, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for being here. You guys are awesome. That's it. Take care. Bye, everyone.